Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming to our Cos-Ability, aka Cosplaying While Disabled panel. My name is Lacey, and we're going to introduce ourselves, and then we have some key topics of things that we do and deal with at conventions and for cosplaying, building, and wearing with the various accessibility needs that we all have. So, first of all, I know it's Sunday morning, but in case you don't know, WonderCon and San Diego Comic-Con both offer ADA stickers that give you access to a variety of the access features of the convention, and you can get that and learn more about it downstairs at the Deaf and Disabled Services table. Also for SDCC, there's a really great Facebook group that has super active discussion and community about everything related to that con because it is so much bigger and harder to get around. But there's not one for WonderCon, so I always share this one because they are adjacent and the conventions are run by the same company, so they have a lot of the same policies and features. A little bit about SheProp is a community that we belong to that is a community group for cosplayers and artists who identify with marginalized genders, women, two-spirits, and anyone under the trans and non-binary umbrella. It's a really awesome group. We do panels all over the country, including a really fun one that I'm going to try to do at Comic-Con called Prop Shop Talk with SheProp, that is just an open Q&A about anything that you want to know about cosplay and crafting.
Just gonna throw my name in the hat for that one, okay, thanks, bye.
Okay, I'll just put that in the bank for later. So, I am Lacey Bond, aka Joy Goblin. My pronouns are she, her. I've been cosplaying for, it's gonna be 10 years this year. My first cosplay was a Loki that I slapped together, and I've not stopped doing that ever since. I have a chronic pain condition of indeterminate idiopathic origin that basically makes my hands and arms hurt all the time, so I have to do a lot of different things, or not do a lot of different things when crafting, and take a lot of extra time and stuff. I think that's it for me. Who are you, Kat? Tell us about you.
Hi, I'm Kat.
Hi, Kat.
I go by Well Attired in the cosplay community. My pronouns are they, them. And I have various invisible disabilities, including chronic pain and conditions that have flare-ups. So I have kind of inconsistently able, and so there's a lot of variance day to day in what I can do and what my limitations are. So that's something I have to kind of plan around for is, what's tomorrow gonna be like? Who knows until I wake up.
Hi, I am Chrissy Lynn, and the rare weird invisible disease that I have is called Legg-Calvé-Perthes syndrome, and it's normally it's about 100-year-old discovered disease. It's been around obviously longer than that, but they used to mistake it for scoliosis in the early part of the century. Not this century, but the century I was born in. The 20th century. The 1800s. And it's usually develops in smaller children between ages of 5 and 12, and it's usually corrected and kind of fixed. But it's rare in my case. I still have it, and then later on in my adulthood, they noticed it in my other leg. So it's the joint in your hip bone, essentially, the bones just die, they stop producing anything, they start to disintegrate. So my whole right hip is my body kind of corkscrews, because my whole right leg is an inch shorter than my left leg, and 2 inches smaller in circumference and a shoe size smaller. It's really awesome for me. Everything has to be stretchy, but I navigate what I can when I can. Sometimes it just doesn't want to work, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here, it's fine. But yeah, that's kind of something I have dealt with my whole life. I'm just so used to it, I don't really notice it much anymore.
Chrissy, did you drop your pronouns?
Oh, sure, they, them, thank you for that.
I'm Brittany Ann Lowe, she, her. Socials I can be found at Brittany. I have different kind of pain disabilities, some autoimmune, so I kind of live in this fun world of I have no idea what's gonna hurt when or what tomorrow will bring. It's basically a roulette wheel, so I have to plan ahead in all sorts of fun ways of not knowing what tomorrow will bring. Bring a lot of extra stuff because you don't know what you're gonna be able to wear. You don't know what backup stuff you're gonna need to bring. And you need to plan ahead because tomorrow you may be in bed. So you need to make sure you leave lots of extra planning time, and con crunch is not your friend.
I don't even do con crunch anymore.
Con crunch is nap.
I'm just like, it's not gonna happen, it's fine.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you all. So these are the things that we talk about in this panel. So I have a collection of questions for each one, and I will just ask you guys and just like give me a little hand raise if you want to contribute to that. So as far as crafting while disabled, what tools or method do you use that make it easier or more possible to like actually realize a cosplay from concept to actually wearing it or shooting in it?
I mean, because I do fabricate and I do sew and I do make costumes and build from scratch, and sometimes if I don't have the bandwidth or time, and because I know I don't want to like over push myself, I will buy things that are already pre-made and alter them or modify them so I can save myself the time. And then I look at like things that how I'm sitting and how I'm standing. I use a gaming chair because they're very comfortable instead of a desk chair at home for my workspace. But I do have to, I can't sit for too long and I can't stand for too long. It's great, so I have to alternate what I do. So most of the jobs that I do in real life, I have to make sure like I can't just sit at a desk. Can I have a standing desk? I can just rotate up. But the first thing I do look at sometimes with cosplays, the characters, is their shoes. Is there a heel? Am I gonna enjoy that heel for a little bit? Maybe. I do have high arches, so I do find myself needing to wear like heels because of my feet. But that's usually kind of, it's more like the time management of like, okay, how much time do I have? Is it gonna, like, how much distress is it gonna put on my body, getting it prepared for a convention, and then planning things out as best as I can. And then of course, the older I've gotten, like, the stage may sound weird, but the rain has now started hurting my legs and my joints. And I was like, what does that mean? So when it's cold, I'm like, oh, ow. So just time management, planning out, and allotting myself the time to get something completed in time so I don't have con crunch and I don't have to stress or stress anybody else out around me getting something done in time.
Yeah. I just want to piggyback on something Chrissy said, like the importance of ergonomics, like knowing your body, knowing what your pain triggers are if you're a chronic pain person, knowing what positions are going to be exacerbating any conditions you might have while you're sitting and crafting is all really important. So like when I'm crafting, I use a heating pad. I've got my like pillows to like have me in the right position. I make sure that like the sewing table I'm using is at the right height. And if I have to crawl around the floor cutting fabric, I have knee pads on. I make sure that I'm not like stressing my body more than I have to be able to do the things I have to do. And just thinking about that and not waiting until you're already in pain, but like planning around before you get to that point of how to mitigate that.
If it's a tool I use a lot, I start thinking about what can I get that will make it better. And even as simple as like pins, like sewing pins. What could make this pin easier? So like the really long pins for quilting with like the big plastic ends like butterflies, those are so much easier for me than like a small headed pin for sewing. So I get a bunch of those. Seam rippers, get the ones with the big squishy grips because you're gonna be using those a lot. Like little metal doohickeys for putting the fabric against so you aren't constantly putting your thumb against it on the machine. Every little adaptive tool they make, if it's something you're using a lot, you're like, what can I use that might make this just a slight bit better? Just take that edge off just a tiny bit.
I didn't start using compression gloves until maybe 2 years ago.
They're
3
so
years ago.
good.
And they're the greatest things on the planet, like the absolute greatest things if you're doing a lot of stuff with your hands.
I can't get through like a day without wearing my compression gloves, just like full stop, not even for crafting. But like once I actually accepted that that's what I needed to do, it made everything a lot easier. Thank you. So when it comes to like, you mentioned purchasing stuff, Chrissy, like we do like purchasing stuff, commissioning, altering, and garment hacking. How much do you guys do that versus like drafting, like patterning and starting from scratch?
I think it depends on the convention, honestly. Like this in San Diego, two of the biggest conventions, WonderCon, Okay, New York and San Diego, two of the biggest conventions. Let's be real. Again, like I said, as getting older and knowing that comfort and time and less stress is much better on my mental health, I have no shame in buying something to garment hack. And if I need to impress somebody, because maybe I'm judging around the country that year, then yeah, I will make some stuff complete head to toe from scratch because it's more impressive. And as a judge, I should be making most of my garments and my cosplays. But like something like Dragon Con, when it doesn't matter, you're there at party and like hang out with your friends. Like, what's in my closet this week? I don't know, it's a roulette. Or I come up with the dumbest, funnest, greatest magical moments that go viral just by pulling out something from my closet a week or two before a con, and that's usually Dragon Con. But yeah, I have no issues in just buying something or commissioning, paying other amazing maker friends of mine to like make something for me.
Mm-hmm. I do trades a lot with people.
Oh, the barter system is still pretty hard. Yeah.
For me, if it's not a contest, I'm not making everything from scratch. I make it from scratch if it's a contest. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah,
Who else
absolutely.
cares?
Yeah.
And then as far as making from scratch otherwise, odds are I'm making it from scratch if I can't buy it, or it's because it's a sensory issue, or some of my medical condition makes me sweat more, and so like I can't find it, that it's not like in leather, and I'm like, I'll die. I can't breathe in that, and I need it to be cotton based, so I made it myself. But otherwise, it's a hack.
I have a follow-up question to that, but did you want to answer this question at all before I ask that of Brittany?
Yeah, I think so my background is a costumer. Like I have a lot of technical sewing skills, and I do a lot of historical costuming. So for me, a lot of why I do cosplay is the joy of the crafting itself. So I do tend to mostly make everything from scratch. But I say that right now I'm wearing entirely stuff I bought.
I own that jacket.
And it's because it's related to my disability. It's because I needed something that was very comfortable and easy to wear. And then I knew that on like bad pain days, or like today, where it's Sunday, the last day of the convention, I know that Sunday of every con, I'm not gonna be up for wearing something elaborate with heavy pieces, that I need to be in a comfy, cozy outfit every time on Sunday. And so I have to think about what's the comfiest thing I can wear, what's like an extremely easy streetwear thing. And this ended up being one of my default things I wear on Sunday because it's so easy. I don't have to wear a wig because this is what my hair already looks like. And just planning for that and realizing like, I don't need to make a leather jacket to prove to people that I can make a leather jacket. I can just buy one and it looks great, and that's fine. Because people who commission me know I can make a leather jacket if I wanted to. Like you said, we don't have to prove ourselves to anybody. We can just be comfortable, and it's okay.
Yeah. My follow-up question for Brittany was, how often do you compete?
I used to compete more often, and I used to like set a goal, I'm gonna make 2 things from scratch a year. And then my body laughed at me
Been there.
and said, let's create new problems. So now I let my body kind of control that and my work schedule. So I will say, I'm gonna make this year. And maybe it doesn't get made for 3 years. So I just kind of, let's see what happens. I like to try to enter a major contest called the Her Universe Fashion Show each year. And if I got in, I would make that happen. But I haven't gotten in except for once, and I did make that happen. So if I get in this year, I will make that happen. But if I don't get in, maybe something will happen to wear to D23. Maybe it won't. Maybe this I'll wear. So we'll just see. Maybe something get made for Halloween this year. If not, it will be Comic-Con next year. I just kind of let things happen. I have a long list of things I'd like to make.
Yeah. Let's talk about cosplay competitions for a minute. You all compete? Or do you still compete, Chrissy? Or do you just judge?
I judge and I produce the LACC Cosplay National Championship. Thank you. I like to plug in every once in a while. Tickets are on sale right now. But I've never competed. Halloween was my pride and joy. Go to a Halloween party, the work Halloween costume party, you know. And that was the only time I would compete and win every time.
Of course.
So, why am I going to compete? I'd rather just judge. I'd rather judge you.
Chrissy also has modeled in the Her Universe fashion show, and I've entered, sometimes I enter with Christine mine as my model. So I think we've all been involved in the Her Universe fashion show, because that is something that is like a really great creative challenge for people who are cosplayers, where it's not about like screen accuracy, it's about creativity and imagination, and that's really appealing to,
They're finding their future designers for their brand.
Yeah.
Always was such a cool concept.
I love the fashion show. If you're not familiar with the Her Universe fashion show, it is during San Diego Comic-Con, but it is not a badged event, so you can go to it for free. You just need to show up in the morning and get like a re-entry wristband, and it's a really fun time, and they typically also have really dope swag bags. It's a fun show. It's like
Theme
3
this year
hours
is
long.
DC, and I am upset.
It's
And
a
excited
couture
about it.
fashion show, it's not a cosplay contest, so it's
Right.
but it's,
It's also a fashion
DC.
contest, because the
Yeah.
winner gets to design a line for
Hot
Her
Topic.
Universe and Hot Topic, right?
Because Hot Topic now owns Her Universe.
The phrase they use is geek couture.
Yes.
Geek couture.
Thank you, Ashley Eckstein, for creating that for all of us.
Bless Ashley Eckstein. But yeah, when it comes to cosplay contests, like, what do you find makes it accessible or inaccessible? Because there's a lot of different ways a thing can be more accessible. Like, for example, a wheelchair lift, which is better than a wheelchair ramp because it takes up less space. I mean, it is power dependent, but I was talking with a fellow who runs the masquerade here and SDCC about accessibility stuff, and you might be on this panel in July if we get it approved.
I mean, I can speak on this, organizing the LACC one. When I do get all my submissions and my people who register to apply for the contest, because we don't just take everybody, we have to review them, make sure that they meet all the qualifications. But the first thing, one of the biggest things that's on there is, do you need accessibility? Do you need a lift, or do you need a ramp? And I don't know what I have at the venue, at the convention center and the stage until I get there. So sometimes it's, oops, surprise, there's a ramp, or surprise, there's a lift. Or even if there is a lift, I'll have somebody I had to make size restrictions, because these folks, amazing talented people with their giant 6, 7, 8 foot builds cannot fit on said ramp or the lift. And it's a hazard to have them kind of walk in front of the stage. There's no room for that. But I make sure that, I'm very transparent, very clear, and communicative about how long prejudging is, what time prejudging is, where to go to get there, where the elevators are. And I usually only have maybe like 2 or 3 that need the accessibility. Most of them are just like, my costume's big, I can't do the stairs, I'm all bet, let's go. And I'm always there, and another helper to help them get up and down on anything. I time things out so perfectly, it's like a science at this point, of them getting up on the stage at the right time, because that lift takes a long time to lift anybody up. But yeah, just making sure. We also ask their pronouns now too. So I make sure that I know who needs one and who doesn't. As far as the LA Comic-Con itself, they are pretty good about, I think, informing or having information on the site about accessibility needs.
And I've helped out backstage at that competition, assisting, and it's definitely really important to have somebody backstage acting as a handler and a wrangler, because you have not just people who might have like mobility challenges or other disabilities, you do have people who just have giant wings on and things like that. So having somebody who is informed about these kinds of things backstage to help people get on and off stage, whatever their needs might be, is a big part of that accessibility as well. Is not just letting people figure it out for themselves, but having someone there to help them. And whether that's just holding their hand going up the stairs or whatever it is, like, that's really important, to not leave people in a position where they're trying to get all their needs met on their own while they're also in cosplay. Having like designated handlers to assist.
I usually allow all the competitors they're allowed one handler to go back there with them. They get a special badge, because it's me and one other person that run that contest. I don't know how or why I do that to myself. But I didn't start asking for help or hiring somebody to come on as assistant, bless you, Kendra, until maybe 6 or 7 years ago. I was like, I got this, it's fine. I'll just randomly grab a friend the day of, it's great. But I've been in the back stages of San Diego Masquerade, and that is a whole team. And they get private rooms, and they're very, very hands-on, running around, doing everything. making sure they have their prep space, because you're not allowed to wear your costume that you're competing in prior to the competition. Mine, you can, but, and then you showcase it or wear it on the Sunday following the contest. But yeah, if you are gonna start competing, always, check the website, check the FAQ, see what they do offer in terms of accessibility, contact the organizers if you have to, slide into their DMs, and let them know what your needs are, because it has to be accessible. Everything has to be accessible. There are laws in place for this to be a thing.
Yeah. Brittany, what about you? What do you find like works or doesn't? Like,
I had, I won't say the name, but a convention that went really well, and they even switched the venue location to try to last minute really try to be accessible for their costume contest. And it did not work out well, and they meant really well, and they moved chairs and they moved it outside so that they could have someone compete that had mobility issues. They meant well. But it shows that people do not think ahead, and it didn't occur to them that they needed space for a wheelchair with a bustle gown to be able to come forward and turn around and come back out. These things just didn't occur to them ahead of time. And it was sad to see it play out. And I was grateful that they tried to pull it off, and my husband and a couple other guys immediately jumped into action with chairs and what do you need us to do? But yeah, the hotel and it was sad. But so it's great that more venues are thinking of this, and that was a very small association, we'll put it that way. So the bigger ones are thinking more about this, and it's great to see more and more as I come across forms filled out that even just asking, pronouns, or asking, do you need stuff, or message us if you have questions, even just putting that box, do you have a question? That is so helpful. I love seeing that, so that people, because I'll put, hey, do you have steps? Do your steps have a railing? Or can my husband stand there so he can put his arm out? That's all I need. Some people need more than that. And it'd be great if every venue had more, but for me, just so I have the basics.
yeah.
But I hope that there's more than basics for the next person that comes after me.
Do you know if that convention ever got better?
Well, that convention kind of folded, so.
Really?
Sadly, so many small conventions don't make it, so, But I do know people that came from that convention that went on to another one, and what I've seen them do, I know that they're growing, so. They have some people that are pushing forward with more things, so.
I love hearing that.
Yeah.
You guys heard about accessibility coordinators?
Well, they have someone that works at a school, so they have some hey, at our school we do this, little
nice.
things like that, so.
Yeah, it's really great to be able to have a handler, but I like seeing this trend where like intimacy coordinators for film and TV productions for intimate scenes simulated. Accessibility coordinators are starting to be a thing both on sets and at events. We have a friend, Chelsea Schwartz, who's amazing at this, who will work with events and venues and people to basically provide a knowledge base of hey, here are the main things to consider when it comes to accessibility, because as we have illustrated, there are a lot of different types of disabilities and access needs and accommodations that people may need, or that someone who's able-bodied might not necessarily think of, even if they mean well. So I love that that is a thing that's beginning to be present.
Some hotels even have folders they'll give conventions that are here's things we've learned.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, that it's not don't put it on us, that we're not saying this is official or laws or anything. These are just frequently requested things we've learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can say this convention center definitely understands the needs of better than I would say the San Diego Convention Center staff do. And that's not meant as a criticism of them, but just something that I can tell immediately when I walk into a WonderCon panel room. See how large the center aisle is and how much room there is on the outside, wide enough for a chair to get by. In San Diego Comic-Con, a lot of the time the back row will literally be against the wall, and it'll go all the way to the side. So that means a wheelchair user can only come up the center, and they only have one area in the entire room.
that they have to navigate while rooms are changing over and everyone's standing and people are coming in and out. You only have one place you can go, and there might be 2 wheelchair spots in the whole room. And that's just, it's not as easy to navigate as this room. I walk in and I say, oh, this convention understands the needs of a chair user in a way that not all convention staff necessarily do, because if they're not thinking about that, like you said, they're an able-bodied person, they think, oh, this is enough room for a pedestrian to walk, and they don't think about not everyone is a pedestrian.
They're doing the bare minimum of 3 feet, which is the law, unfortunately, for aisles.
Yeah.
Can we talk real quick about that? The Golden Gate of food trucks to get through to security, packed with tons of people and high top tables, that I feel like needs to change. We have a conversation about that. Okay, we're done talking about that. Just wanted to plant that seed.
I would like to add that if you do have your disabled sticker, like you can technically circumvent it, but it's not really communicated at all. You kind of have to know.
It'd be nice to have a separate like aisle, just walking through. We're not eating.
Yeah.
Or we got a wheelchair and scooter.
Yeah, I would love like arrows.
That'd be great.
Oh, directional walkway is amazing. Speaking of,
Like a bike path for
Yes.
just walking and rolling through.
Bring back COVID era tape on the
Oh my God,
ground.
yes. Stay
Line
away.
management, why did we stop doing that?
Right? I have
Makes me
a
miss
question to
Japan.
build
They
off
love
of
their
that.
lines.
What was that, Chrissy?
Japan loves their lines. If you guys have ever been, there's markings everywhere. You cannot like not miss it. Oh, that arrow, I'm going in that direction. Absolutely.
Awesome.
It's pretty great.
Before I ask the next question, I want to mention that we do have Q&A in this panel, probably in about 20 minutes. So if you have any questions or questions, concerns, desire to join screaming from the room, no, don't do that. If you have any questions, like we'll have time for that, so keep those in mind, and we'll be able to get to that in a little bit. But when it comes to mobility aids, like, do you ever incorporate, if you use mobility aids, do you incorporate them into cosplays? Like I saw someone from the Droid Builders Club with this really cool walker that had, what's the droid from Mando where he like protects the baby? The one that Richard Ayoade? Yeah. That was just like built on the front of their walker, and they had made it. It was super cool. I took a picture, but I didn't have time to put it in the slides, so just DM me on Instagram later and I'll send it to you because it was rad.
Straight to jail, I see. Straight to jail.
I know, I'm sorry. I'll see myself out.
Picture tags.
I tend to do very simple, just like covers for canes. Just like
I just
like
think of a cover
covers,
for a cane. Oh my gosh.
fabric covers or something.
I collect
I'll
walkies.
spend forever on the outfit and do like a real simple. Here's a sock that slides over.
Oh, that's cool.
So
That's
good.
super easy.
Yeah.
Tubes are really easy to make.
Well, and because like I feel like I bang them around and stuff, I want them to be easy to come off and clean.
Yeah, I think there's sort of 3 approaches for mobility aids. Either you can kind of lean in on a character that has a mobility aid, even if that's not necessarily the intent of the character design. Like there's a lot of characters that have like flamboyant walking sticks, and it's not because the character needs a mobility aid, it's just because it's part of the design that they have this cool cane. And you can lean in on that and be like, I'm cosplaying a character that canonically carries a cane. You can do something that's like a cover or disguise, but then there's sort of the more kind of radical approach of just not trying to disguise your mobility aids. Like I have an eye patch on right now because I injured my eye, and this is not part of my cosplay. I'm not pirate rogue. I just am rogue and I have an eye patch on right now. And not like apologizing for that, not trying to disguise it, not trying to come up with an explanation why, but just being like, yeah, I'm rogue and I have an eye patch. And generally speaking, like no one comments on it. No one says, why are you wearing an eye patch? People understand it's a medical thing and they see past it. So like, don't feel like you have to disguise your mobility aids. It's okay to be cosplaying any character you want and be in a wheelchair. You don't have to be Professor X. And like anyone who comes up to you and says like, oh, you're cosplaying so-and-so, like you're in a chair and you're a redhead, why don't you cosplay Oracle? Don't say that. Don't be that person. Don't put somebody in a box where they can only cosplay someone who has the specific disability that they have. Like anyone can do anything, and you don't have to hide your mobility aid if you don't want to. It's a choice that you have. it's not an obligation you have to anyone.
Thank you for that TED Talk, I really appreciated that.
Yeah, when I cover my cane, it's more just because like I also have a purple cane because I like purple. Like, and I chose this character because I like purple. Yeah, it's more of like wearing purple shoes. Like I coordinate outfits. So I coordinate the cane. It's not even like coordinating the character. So to me, I'll cover things because I coordinate things. So it's not necessarily because it needs to be part of that character. And there is something to be said too of keeping it looking like a cane so that people do give you a little more space and don't knock into it. Because if it looks like a prop, they do bump into you more than this. I mean, people bump into you all the time on the floor or whatever, but there is that.
I have a huge problem with walking sticks because I can't stop buying them. I was on crutches for a whole year when I was a little kid. Again, to correct the issue, it didn't correct anything. And of course, archaic methods of medicine in the 80s and the 90s. But I love them as accessories and styling with them, and I don't use them all the time. I have travel ones. I have ones that screw into 3 pieces so I can travel with them. I have ones I can like beat people up with, you know, come at me, bro. And of course, obviously safety. I mean, you know, but I don't usually. I forget to grab them and pull them out. I don't usually need them all the time. I'm supposed to use them. I'm supposed to be on a walking stick, taking pressure off my right leg since I was like 12. My orthopedic doctors are mad at me, but I also just kind of like, well, I don't always need it, and I want to just train myself to like, if I'm standing there and you see me rocking, it's because I'm taking the pressure off my right leg. So I do like to accessorize with them, and I can't stop buying them and collecting them because they're all so beautiful. I have like old antique ones. I've got weird wood ones, handmade ones. I've been hand-me-down some. My mom passed away, and I took hers, and it's made for a left hand. It's not made for me, but so yeah, I do also I keep a wheelchair at home. I keep crutches, and I keep a walker at home for the inevitable day where I'm just gonna not be able to do anything. But I will dress it up though. I'm gonna blink that shit out real fast. But yeah, I'm just waiting. You know, I'm supposed to have my hips replaced. I'm not ready for that yet. So, but yeah, incorporating them into your costumes is fun. But also, if you just want to normalize things, you don't have to make a sleeve for them or do a character that requires them. You know, I get the jokes too all the time when I was younger, like, oh, you're gonna get your hips replaced, and what are you gonna do for cosplaying that year? You're gonna be Professor X, and like, maybe I'm gonna shave my head too while I'm at it. I would totally do that.
You totally would do that. You would rock that.
That's one of the things I've been really wanting to do with my chair that I just haven't executed yet is I really want to turn my wheelchair into a Mario Kart car and have like one of those little turtle shell backpacks. Just put it on the back of the chair and then just do like wheelies outside. That just sounds like it'd be really fun, like throw banana peels at it.
Hell yeah. I have another question, but if anyone does have questions, please feel free to come up to the microphone at any point. I will see you. Don't be shy. We are very nice. Unfortunately, this is a wired mic. I was not able to get a wireless mic. Is that a wireless mic? We don't.
We're all here now.
We have an AV tech to actually help with that. Oh my God! Thank you so much.
Thank you, Angel.
Good. Awesome. Thank you so much. So for things like oxygen machines, kind of hard to hide those or disguise those. So things that can't be disguised or things that can't be hidden. What do you like? Is there a way to work around that, or is the only option to just rock it?
I think you should just, pardon my French, fuck it, rock it. And also, if you're taking a character that doesn't require one,
incorporate it into that character and make it a part of the design. You are a designer now. You are now a designer, and you're going to do something really cool with it. Make a cool cover for it. Give it some lore and some background story that, you know, throw some fanfic at it.
Do you have any examples of doing that?
Oh my gosh,
Or
I don't, but
not you doing that per se, but examples of possibilities.
actually, I have someone in the audience right now who I know who works with the Magic Wheelchair Company who can actually give you some ideas. Sean, can you stand up for me real quick? This gentleman back here is a fabricator and a beautiful, amazing maker. He's got his shirt on. He works with the Magic Wheelchair, and he's done things like that where he has to incorporate a lot of those types of, you know, a bit like aids. So if you do have any questions, I would definitely go back and talk to that man right back there.
I happen to know you love Loki. I see no reason why that isn't magical, green, flowing, whatever,
Oh yeah.
that
Oh,
just,
yeah.
you know, whisks off to your side and with green fluff into magic. And
Get some
just-
LED lights, like
Yeah.
put light
The
that
green shears.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
flowing
curious about like how much
every which
encumbrance
way.
you're able to incorporate or not, because like that's a really good question.
I have an
That's a
idea.
very good-
Get an alligator stuffy. Take out the stuffing. Put it on the oxygen tank. Now you have alligator Loki.
Would that work? Could you do that?
I mean, it's probably make the machine overheat.
I know that's like my
a
legitimate
breathable
curiosity.
cotton fabric. It'll be great. We'll just make it, we'll make it breathable.
Yeah, if you did it on a
Put a
breathable
little fan in there.
Yeah, I'm curious
Just
because I
on
don't.
one side, so like the back has air.
We have ideas. Slide into our DMs.
Yeah.
Yeah. We gotta talk to each other.
Yeah,
It's
it really
all
just depends
inclusive.
on like, yeah, what the like technical limitations of the item that you want to incorporate are.
You don't have to hide like the entire thing, just hide from like the front view, you know, and pose, you know, when you do photos or whatever. If you're trying to hide, just hide it from like one side, you know.
I like hiding little stools and chairs and hoop skirts. I have all kinds of things in there, man. You don't know what's happening
Oh,
underneath my
I put
skirt.
fans and hoop skirts, and I pulled like, I swear I won a contest one time because I pulled my water bottle out of my hoop skirt to get a drink and put it back in, and they're like,
I about these things. Yeah. Hoop skirts do hide everything, including those secrets of yours.
Yeah.
What can friends of disabled people do to help that maybe we don't think of already?
Patience, grace, understanding, and constant transparency. I know a lot of folks with ADHD don't like to ask for help, and I know I'm not diagnosed, but I sit on that line somewhere and keep hearing it. But patience, understanding, constantly communicating, and like asking them for their needs, but making sure you're meeting your own boundaries and constantly planning ahead. Planning on the event, the room type, the lodging, the logistics, the accommodations needed. Consider if you don't have the bandwidth or the mental capacity to handle and have the care and the patience for someone who needs assistance, it's okay. Then you just have to make sure you communicate that, and then you let them know, like, I can help you up to this point or not, especially if they're cosplaying. If you're just a really cool, awesome friend and you just want to be a handler, you're a saint. But yeah, you just have to talk, and you have to get them to talk and tell you too, because there's a lot of, unfortunately, there's shame, and there's like, they don't want to be a burden, and they want to be able to handle things on their own. People want to be able to walk on their own and walk upstairs on their own and be competent. And unfortunately, we look at disabled folks, especially our veterans, as people who can't do anything for themselves. And it is so upsetting. I'm so sorry, I'm upset about this. I'm so upset about this. But you have to like do what you can with what you can, but you have to talk to them and you have to ask what their needs are. And it's okay if you can't meet their needs, because they have other friends in other community, and we're all here for a reason, whether you guys have disabilities or you're trying to help with folks that you love and care about with their disabilities. But we also have to tell you what our needs are too.
Yeah, I find soliciting, like asking that question and even bringing it up, like backing it up even further of like, hey, what are you struggling with right now? Like, is there something I can do to make something a little bit easier right now? Because a lot of us, and I think like especially assigned female at birth people and femmes tend to like assume we have to be self-sufficient, and it's very hard for us to like ask for what we need. And on that topic, Jenna or Alfonso, would one of you mind being a runner?
I was
that-
literally already gonna do that.
Yeah.
I can do running, yeah.
Thank
they're
you.
my besties.
We've got about 10 minutes left, so if anyone has a question, we now
I was
have a
just
runner who can bring the microphone to you. Thank you.
I was just gonna say, and also just please keep inviting us, because a lot of us will keep saying no, and it's not because we don't want to be invited, it's because we're keep fighting medical or whatever problems,
We're gonna
so we
flare
keep
up.
turning you down. That doesn't mean we don't want to be invited, so please keep inviting us that 100th time, because one day we may say yes, and it means so much that you keep inviting us, so please keep inviting us.
It's just a numbers game. If I'm in a really bad flare-up, I can't drive more than, I shouldn't drive at all if I'm in a really bad flare-up, but I've had to cancel stuff that's an hour away from me because I was just I want to go, but I overdid it last night and I can't. So,
Hi. So I struggle with a lot of chronic pain issues. I also struggle with a lot of different autonomic nerve problems. And I want to be a creator as a career path. And I wonder if you have any advice about making deadlines, for example, or keeping up with creative projects when physically you're at your limit, basically. And because I'm actually going off to college soon, art college, and I'm a little worried about stuff like that because I want to do creative things. I want to write, I want to be able to do stuff like this, but I'm a bit worried about physically if I can manage it.
Have you communicated to the school and your professors and everything?
Yeah.
They are aware? Okay, great. That's a big first step, honestly, as long as they can accommodate you. Are you talking about while you're in school or when you're home? Or
Mostly when I'm out of school. I'm worried about, I guess, career, with these,
there are discrimination laws, so do not stress about that at all.
yeah.
But also, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, there will be resources while you're in school that you should take advantage of, that a lot of the time, universities will have specific people on staff, whether it's with their counseling services or a disability office or dean's office, or sometimes even if there's a career development office that can help teach you skills for dealing with whatever your specific set of needs are, and help you with that kind of thing of how to make a schedule to work towards deadlines, how to have benchmarks along the way, and really utilize the time while you're in school to try to get those habits established, because they will serve you the rest of your life in your career. And while you're in school is one of the best times to have access to those kinds of free resources and coaches that you would have to pay for out of pocket when you're a working professional to hire a coach to train you in that way. So I would say really look into what services your school provides to help you develop those skills now.
yeah.
I imagine there's a lot of programs out there right now.
Yeah, especially now.
And then I would honestly journal and log how how do you feel each day after certain activities or what you're doing? Because if you have a log of that, you can kind of go back and be like, okay, I worked on this thing for these 2 days and then I was out for 15 hours this one day. Keep track of that, and then of course always communicate, with your medical team, your doctors. That's the only way that you're gonna actually be able to, I think personally for myself, know when you're out of commission, and then when you've got the stamina and the endurance and speed to you're able at the time.
Yeah, I became disabled while working a really high intensity corporate job, which is not something that you can continue doing when you have really debilitating chronic hand pain. And that started at the end of 2021, and it's taken a good portion of the last 5 years to actually relearn how to even think about workflow and stuff, learning the things that trigger me and flare me up and what to look out for. So starting to get a sense of that now and build out plans for how you can manage that, having a schedule, how you approach deadlines, learning how to communicate whether or not you're going to be able to make a deadline or not as early as possible, working with your medical team to define what accommodations you need so that they can get it to, if you're working at a company, HR, and the company can make those accommodations because they are legally required to make reasonable accommodations for anyone who has a disability under that big Americans with Disabilities Act umbrella. And certain states, like California, have a little bit better protections for labor. That's a great question, thank you.
if you're able to set your own deadlines, if you're like an independent creative and you're doing like a commission or freelance and you're able to dictate what the deadline is, add buffer, add more time than it would take, because you need to schedule in recovery days and schedule in time for things to go wrong. So like under promise, and then sometimes you can surprisingly over deliver and everyone will be delighted, and then you'll feel better about it than if you put yourself in a position where you set a deadline you can't meet.
Hi, good morning. I am Guillermo. I'm on vacation this week, but I work for the LA County Aging and Disabilities Department, and I staff the Commission on Disability, so I'm gonna be a worker for the next 30 seconds. I'm a male Hispanic, 51 years old, just turned 51 a few days ago. I'm wearing jeans, a black shirt, Batman with Catwoman on it, and an LA Galaxy hat. So when we have our commission meetings, we describe ourselves because we have a wide variety of people attending our meetings, some that are blind, some that are deaf, but at least that way we make it accessible to everybody. So I just want to thank you for having these kind of panels that we need to have. I know this weekend it's also the Disabilities Expo happening in Long Beach. I'm on vacation. If I wasn't on vacation, I'd probably be working there, but I'd rather have fun here. So when I saw this panel, I didn't want to miss it. But I just want to thank all of you for bringing this to this kind of convention where we definitely need it. And I always like to see people, different abilities. I don't like to use the word disability. We like to say in our commission, there's two types of people in the world. I'm sure you've heard of it. Either you're TAB or you're a person with disability. TAB means you're just temporarily able-bodied. The older we get, something's gonna happen, our bodies start changing. So we just try to improve the world so when we get to that age, it's a little bit better for everyone else, including events like this where it makes it accessible. And my recommendation is just have fun with it. Whatever you have, whatever disability, just go with it, own it, and just let it be part of you. But thank you for having this today.
Thank you so much, Guillermo. That's gonna be our last question. What an amazing one to wrap up on. I'm gonna start including descriptions when we introduce ourselves because of you. Really quickly, I want to just go through where we can all be found on the internet. I am Joy Goblin on TikTok and Instagram, but mostly Instagram.
I'm well attired on Instagram. I'm terrible at checking my messages. I'm sorry, I'm neurodivergent. I won't get better.
MX Chrissy Lynn across the board. I do not have TikTok anymore. And I usually check my messages sometimes when I know there's the request folder I just discovered recently.
Same.
So.
I'm @Brittany on Instagram, and I'm not very good at promoting myself, so I have one Instagram that is everything, so you'll find pictures of my dog, my cosplay, and random photos of me. So, there we go.
Thank you, all of you, and thank you, all of you.